Hey you guys, so today's video is going to be my 1 year update since I became a mother. I actually posted on my Instagram for you guys to ask me questions, and I did get a few, so I just wanted to start there. I'm just now looking at the questions. Yeah, I thought it was really important for me to do this video. One, because this is kind of the topic or the area I want to focus on. And two, I thought I had it all figured out before I became a mother, just because I felt like I raised kids before, and I don't know, it always came natural to me. So I always thought it was going to be a piece of cake. I'd never worried about becoming a mother or anything. And this year has been super challenging. But at this point, I finally feel like I'm settled. I'm okay. My life is kind of back in order, and well, my new life, like new routines and all of that. Everything has finally settled, and I just feel like I'm at a really good place. And I just wanted to kind of reflect. My son is turning 1 on Thanksgiving, and today is the 10th, so like literally in 2 weeks it's going to be a year. And like, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. That's the one thing, when you have a child, all you do is like count month to month. Like, even their doctor's appointments, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. Like, you just see life go by so fast, because it's like these little checkpoints you're looking forward to, and then all of a sudden they're one, and it's crazy. So I am going to start with the questions. I don't really know how to start. I took notes yesterday, and then I was like, I don't even want to follow the notes. I just kind of want to do it like naturally. So, the first question, this was a really good question that I wanted to answer. So, the question is, how has motherhood changed your career goals? This was a hard question to answer because I really thought about it, and I wonder if I could blame my pregnancy or motherhood for the shift in my career. If you guys don't know, I went to school for broadcast journalism. So when I was 18, I wanted to get into, news and journalism. I've always loved the media ever since I can remember. From like 6 till the time that I would go off to school, I would be watching the news. Like, I just love that industry. I don't know why. True Hollywood Story was also like my thing. Like, that really inspired me to get into journalism overall. So that's where I started. Then when I graduated, I ended up working at Yelp, the app Yelp, the food app. I worked there for about a year. I wanted to kind of break out of the news, area, the media area. I wanted to see what tech was like. I loved being in like the corporate setting. Everything was nice. It was a great learning experience. It just wasn't for me. I didn't go with the mindset of wanting to be there forever, or like this was my career goal. I just wanted the experience. So I worked at a tech company for a little bit, and then I got pregnant shortly after. When I left, I got pregnant like 2 months later, and it's been almost 2 years now. Like, that's how much time you have to think about a pregnancy. Like, pregnancy is 10 months, and then you have to think about the rest of your child's life. For me, I wanted to stay home and be with him when he was younger. I was blessed enough to be able to. I know a lot of mothers, parents would love to do that, but not everyone has the opportunity to do that. So I was definitely blessed to have that opportunity. I stayed home with Shea for 9 months. Also, if you didn't know, my family has 2 nail salons. My sister has one in Chicago, and my mom has one. My mom and dad has one in Waukegan/Zion, Illinois. So that's always been like my backup plan. When I was in college, that's how I would make money. I would go to college. I went to the University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana. So I would go to college, and then on breaks, I would come home, make money, bring that money back to school, and then do it like that. Like, if I was running short on money, I would go home that weekend, make some money, and go back to school. So that's been my life. I've always known how to make money. I've always had that job, so Fast forward, I also didn't want to do that for the rest of my life. I For a while I felt guilty that I didn't want to, because it's like my parents has built this whole salon and they built this whole business, and now I'm not, I don't want to be a part of it. That's just a little, background. But while Shea was here, I would work 1 day a week. So, just Saturdays, I would just go to the nail salon in Chicago, my sister's shop, work, and then call it a day. Like I said, everything has finally settled, and I am working, I think 3-4 days. My schedule is still terrible. Like, my clients will tell you, a lot of them are upset at me, but it's really week by week. Now I'm like more consistent with it, so it is 3 to 4 days, but before it would be like 2 days, 3 days, half a day, a full day, and I would never know when I would be at the shop. So yes, now that's what I'm doing, and that's a huge difference from, broadcast journalism till now being a nail tech. That's like completely different. But what I've had to accept was what's the best option for Shea and I right now, and I'm also thinking about breaking out of this and, doing other things, but just right now, nothing is gonna give me the flexibility and the time like being a nail tech. My schedule is so iffy. Like, I have to take my son to daycare, which is almost an hour away. That's a whole nother story. And then I have to make time to go pick him up after work as well. So really, even though all day I'm out doing things, I'm only at work half the day, because the other half is me commuting to and from my son and work and all of that. So I've accepted that this is what I'm gonna do for now, because it's the best, like, it's the best option. This is gonna give me the most time with my son. It's gonna give me that balance. If I were to go back corporate, my days would probably start at 5 a.m. and I'm not gonna leave out of those doors by 5 a.m., which means I would still have to go get my son, and we probably won't make it home till like 7 p.m. and that's his bedtime. So just thinking about that, thinking about 5 days without any time with my son, it doesn't make me want to go back to work yet. So it's something we've been thinking about, and that's why doing YouTube has been such a great outlet for me. Even though I lack consistency in it, it's nice for me to still be a part of creating something, creating content, utilizing a platform. I love all of that, so wow, I feel like I just went on such a tangent. So how has it changed my career goals? It completely changed it, but I feel like it happened because it should have. It happened because this is like how it should be, like, I was never meant to be in the career that I set it out to be in. And I feel like being pregnant gave me that push to get out of it, like get out of that mindset and be in a mindset of like, what else can you do, like, how else can you do this? And not to mention, I also do video work for my church, so I'm still editing videos every week. I'm still filming, I'm still producing, I'm still learning. It could be more, but I just never wanted to lose what I gained from that experience. So I'm still utilizing all of it. It's just, where am I gonna go with it? I don't know, I don't know, and I'm okay with it right now. Right now, priority is my son, at least for the first year, and that's why now that we've reached this point, I feel more comfortable trying to see what else I can do, So in the future, I do want to utilize these platforms. I want to do something in media. I want to still create content. So like I said, starting here on YouTube is literally like, how can I go wrong, The next question is, what's the hardest part about motherhood? So the hardest part about motherhood is mom guilt. It is terrible because you just want to give your son, your kid, the best that you can, So it's like, once you step out of that mind frame, it's like, oh my God, am I a bad mother? Even if I don't say those exact words, I know that my thoughts and like how I create them can sometimes make me feel guilty. Like, for example, even me being at work, if I were to go and work at corporate, I would feel so guilty. And I don't like, women do that. Some people, like I said, don't have a choice. So I'm sure you eventually get used to it, but mom guilt is the worst. You not only feel it within yourself, but other people make you feel bad for it. You just know the whole perception of being a mother is like, oh, you're supposed to stay at home, you're supposed to only take care of your kid. If you go out while they're sleeping, it's like, oh my God, where's your kid? You know, like, it's just this whole society and everything is just on you. There's a lot of hard things about being a mother, but I would say that, like, you yourself could be your worst enemy when it comes to being a mother. And that's something that I had to work through. That's something that I had to accept and like try to change. All of that starts with being aware of where it comes from, you know? So I would say mom guilt is the hardest. Even in your relationship, like if you and your partner goes through something, you kind of feel guilty because it's like, oh my God, now it's affecting my son too. You know, it's not just like me and you, like now our son is involved. So literally every little thing goes back to your son, and it makes you feel like, wait, am I not doing the best that I can? Am I not giving them the best that I have? Am I not, so on and so forth, you know? So yeah. The next question, it's actually in my DMs. The next question, general advice on work-life balance with having a child. So that's like no such thing. Like I said, you're gonna have to sacrifice. So if you sacrifice that time with your child to work, then that's a decision you make. If you want to sacrifice your career for your child, that's a decision you make. One of my clients, she is the VP of a tech company. So I was just asking her questions because I was very curious about how she did it. She had been in that company for I think she said 20 years. Her son is like in his teens. So I asked her how she did it, and she just basically told me, she's like, you have to choose if you want to sacrifice the beginning of their life or if you want to sacrifice like their childhood or throughout their life. So for example, she's like, would you rather miss the times now where they don't really remember, or would you rather miss going to their football games, you know, like after school because you'll be at work, like, or stuff like that. You just have to pick where and when you would like to sacrifice that. For me personally, since he was such a small baby, Shea has never been an easy baby, so I always felt like I needed to be there. Like no one could comfort him the way that I could comfort him. No one knows him the way that I know him, you know? So I always felt more comfortable just being with him. It was never an option for me to like leave him while he's young and then like to be able to be there for him in the future. She gave me that new perspective. So I don't feel like it's right or wrong. There's no right or wrong way to do it. You know, that work-life balance is basically how you feel. A lot of mothers have to go back to work when their child is 6 weeks, which I'm like, what? Like, how is that even the law? Your child is literally still so young. It doesn't make any sense. I truly feel like you need at least 6 months with your kid, but the way America's set up, it's not possible, you know? So yeah, that's my answer. There's no like, you create your own balance personally, like your own experience. Again, with your partner, if your partner is able to provide or at least help you provide, it gives you more space to be able to say, okay, no, I want to spend time with my son, or so on and so forth. Like, you have options. It all depends on your situation, but really it comes down to how you feel about your child. Like, do you feel like they're able to be okay? Like, if a baby is easy, I wouldn't feel like it. Just, this is for me personally, if my baby was easy, it wouldn't be so hard for me to like give him to a babysitter, because it's like, it's no big deal. He's just gonna eat and sleep and call it a day, you know? But like, Shea has always been a tough baby. Like, he needed a lot of attention, so I never felt comfortable doing that, you know? The next question, is there any change within yourself that you have seen once you had your own child? Sorry, you guys, my camera died. This is like super personal, but I feel like Shea reminded me to love myself more. He just reminded me that my life isn't just about being a mother to him. You know, like, even though he gave me purpose because I became a mother, it was a reminder that like, it doesn't stop here. And I think because I say that's personal, that's because all my life I've always wanted to be a mother. And once I became a mother, it was like, oh, like, it just didn't, I don't know, how can I explain this? So basically it just, it showed me that like this isn't it, you know, like once I got it, it was like, wow, this is amazing, but like you still have more to do. And I think Shea gave me the confidence to do so and the motivation to do so. So I see myself now looking at how, like, what I'm gonna do with my life. I feel like I think about the purpose of my life more now than ever before. And yeah, he just really made me love myself, because it's like he needs me, you know, like I can't be sad, I can be, but it's like you can't be in that stage, because he needs you, he needs your energy, he needs your spirit, like he needs all of that. So that's, I would say that on a deeper level is how he's changed my life. And this is like something, so it's funny, but it's like, okay, when I was pregnant, I was like so in love with Shay's dad. I've always been like, it's just like, it's crazy. I've always loved him to like on another level. And when I was pregnant, I was just thinking, man, this kid is gonna look just like his dad. Like everything is gonna be just like his dad. And like, you know, I just felt like, wow, God really gave me a little version of someone that I love, you know? So I was just so, he was going to be born in November. My due date was in November. That's his dad's birth month. Like I was just thinking, man, like I'm literally going to have another version of him. And then I gave birth, and Shea, literally every time I look at him in the face, I see myself. Not only that, but like he came November 28th, which November is his dad's month, and the 28th is my birthday. Like my birthday is June 28th. So I just feel like, you know, it's like little things, but literally I just feel like God was like, you are gonna be a part of him too. Like I don't know, I just feel like he was literally created for us. I can't explain it, but it's just little things that I feel like God was reminding me, like, this is for you too, you know, like this is yours too. It's not just about his dad. But like I said, that's just like personally how I felt. I just, now he's like, I feel like he's the perfect mix between us. Depending on who you ask, they'll be like, oh yeah, he looks like his dad, or no, he looks like his mom. Everything, it's a debate. For the last year, it's been a debate. So that's like the biggest change I see in myself, like just reminding myself to focus on myself. The example she used was that she's like, my patient level for noise and crying is really bad, and my stepmom is always telling me, no, that'll change when you have kids. But yeah, I feel like that happens, like you just, to a certain extent, like with the crying, with the babies crying, you have no choice. But like maybe when they become a toddler or older, you're able to like ignore that you know, noise level and stuff. You just, I do see how that could happen. One thing is like, nothing is disgusting anymore. Like their poop, like, it doesn't smell like, it smells terrible, but like I can still breathe. I don't hold my breath. You know, if I get poop on my hand, it's just like whatever, I'll wash it when I'm done. Like it's not like, oh my God, this is disgusting, or like his boogers, I'm like all in his nose. And yeah, nothing is really nasty anymore when it comes to your kid. You think that it would be, but no. I've had poop on my shirt, I've gotten poop everywhere, throw up everywhere. He's thrown up in my mouth before. So yeah, I mean, nothing is nasty anymore. And the last question, I guess this isn't really a question, but this is something I mentioned. I, like I said, I've always wanted kids, and ever since I could remember, people used to tell me, oh, just wait until you have your first, and then we'll see how many kids you want. Because I've always wanted a big family. I've always wanted like 5 kids. And so that was always like the advice people gave me, like, oh, just wait. Like, don't say you want so many kids. Just have your first and then you'll figure it out. And yeah, I still want all the kids that God will give me. I don't know, I just don't have like a cap on it, you know. At first I was like, I want 5 kids, like, you know, that I'll be happy when my family is like that big. But even now, having Shea, I am so full with Shea. Like I am filled and full. Like I don't feel like I need anything else. But when he was 6 months, I was like ready for another baby. You know, like it was just, I don't know, just seeing how fast he grew up, I was like, oh my God, I need another baby ASAP. Um, Now just because life is happening and it doesn't work like that, I'm not trying to get pregnant. I'm not married yet. So, you know, I'm not trying to get pregnant, but as far as wanting babies in the future, of course, like I'm still me. I love babies. I will say my cap at having babies, if I can choose for myself, if I still feel this way in 5 years, I want to be done by the time I'm 30. So that's the goal. I'm 25 now, so between 25 to 30, fingers crossed, that's what I want. This also goes into like planning for your life. Like I want to be done at 30 so I can begin to raise them whilst continuing on with my career. You know, 30 is like you're still young enough to get things done, and that's kind of that's what I'm thinking. Because when you get pregnant and you stay home with your child and you take care of them, that's 2 years of your life average that you should count out, you know. And so just me personally, I don't want to keep waiting. Like I don't want to keep waiting and putting a pause on my life for 2 years. And this is me speaking like career wise. It's hard, you know. And this is something like if your partner is able to go to work while you're at home, they wouldn't understand this. It's like they still have their career, they're still going, and you know, it is what it is. But as a mother who carries the child and then also gives birth and stays home and all that, it's hard. It does a lot to you mentally, because it's like I went from being someone who worked my whole life, like since I was 16, 17, I've been working, and I was working all the way up until I was 9 months pregnant. So, you know, like I've been working, and so staying at home with him 6 days a week was hard. It was like, what do I do? Like I can't make my own money. I can't, like, and that bothers me. It's like I can't buy him things, I can't do things, and it's just, it's different. But again, all goes back to sacrifice and what you're willing to sacrifice and when you want to sacrifice. So for me, if I can get my life back in order by the time I'm 30 and then raise my kids that way, it'd be perfect. I'll probably, you know, really jump back on it by 30, 31, and that's my plan. But you know, there are bigger plans, sometimes plans that is better than yours. So yeah, I feel like those questions really, it like gave you a good glimpse of this year's update. But like I mentioned, I'll kind of like talk about this year overall for me and for Shea. So I'll start with Shea. When Shea was born, he had colic. I wasn't producing any milk. I was tired, of course. I was getting used to things, so it was very hard. It didn't stop being hard until Shea was like 5 months, because he would cry from like 1 a.m. all the way to 4 or 5 a.m. It was very hard because I couldn't comfort him, you know. And I always call myself a baby whisperer, because I am. Like, I can comfort a child with my eyes closed. I can comfort a child in my sleep. Like, that's me. But when it came to him and him dealing with colic, it was hard because it was like there was no solution. And so I was just exhausted. So for 5 months, just dealing with that, even when he had good nights, you just knew one day, like one night, probably the next night, he was going to be fussy again. So that was very hard. Meanwhile, I was also recovering. I had stitches after my labor and delivery, so I was recovering. My body was just off. I didn't have an appetite. I wasn't eating. Until this day, like right now in this moment, I think I'm holding the weight that I'm at, which is probably going to be like 125 or so. But for a while, I dropped weight and then I couldn't gain the weight. Hold on, Shay's crying. Somebody just woke up from their nap. But, say hi. Hi, everybody. But yeah, so that was hard. again, just getting adjusted to things, it's going to be difficult, especially for me. I'm such a creature of habit that it was hard for me to change. But after that, just getting adjusted to everything, I think this year, without getting like too personal and outside of like motherhood, this year really was really hard on me, like mentally and emotionally. It was very hard on me. Like I said, I think that's pretty normal for a lot of mothers. For me, I just talked through a lot of it. I didn't really, I wasn't hiding it too much, I would say. I was very open with what was going on with me, and yeah, it's helped a lot. I don't know. He's like, he makes everything worth it, so it's kind of hard to be like, it's kind of hard to talk about how hard it was, because like seeing how he is today and where I'm at today, it's like, man, I have no complaints. Like, would I change anything? Probably not. What else can I say? I guess some advice for people who are like me. There's a lot of things I didn't know. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I always thought like I was made for this. Like, I was like, this is for me. Like, I know what to do and all of that, you know. But something that you have to realize is you're in control of this part of your life. Or, okay, not all the time, because people get pregnant when they're on birth control and all of that. But you can at least do the best that you can. So for me, it was like, I would always say, oh, I want kids, but not right now, you know. Or like, I was just very loose with what I wanted. I was like, okay, whatever happens, happens. I would say that. Like, that was the best way to describe it. Everything was kind of like, whatever happens, happens. But you have to realize, when it comes to a child, and it comes to a child happening, that's not just like, oh, you know, getting a new car or getting a puppy. Like, no, like, for the rest of my life, I'm gonna be a mother now. Like, for the rest of my life, until the day that I die, I'm gonna have to take care of this child, and he's my responsibility. You know, your whole life changes, and there are very few things that you could be flexible with when you're responsible for a child. So if you're not where you want to be in your career, that's a very hard place to kind of, you know, like, figure out. That's a hard thing to find balance in. Or, you know, you want to travel the world, or you want to get married. Like, everyone does, you know, everyone has their own plans. But my advice would definitely be to, am I talking too much? You just woke up? My advice would be to make a bucket list. And it doesn't have to be the traditional bucket list, like go to Thailand or whatever. It could be like, I want to be at this point in my career by the time I have a child. I want to be at this point, so that your life isn't just turned upside down like that. Like, after you see the pregnancy test, your life is turned upside down. So my advice would be for you to really know when you want to have the child. Like, planned pregnancies are the best. It's a huge thing. Like, if you want to buy a house, there's no way you could just walk up to a house and be like, I want to buy you. Like, but the responsibility is a lot, you know, and that's nothing compared to raising a child. So you should take steps. You should save. Financial stress is real when it comes to having a baby. And yeah, you can do a lot for yourself and the baby if you plan it out. So that is my number one advice, is to not just let whatever happens. Don't be like that. Ouch. Stop it. Don't be like that. You should take control of this part of your life. Granted, people get pregnant off the IUD, the pills, all of that. Once that happens, it's like, I have nothing to say. I don't know how it happened. You know, that's between you and God. I'm not sure. But do what you can, you know, like, do what you can to take care of that situation. If you want to have a kid and you're set on it, make sure you find a partner who wants to parent the way that you parent. So, for example, if you want 10 kids, make sure your partner at least wants 9. You know, don't, and this is important. Like these are conversations I believe you should really have with someone. If you want 10 kids and your partner only wants 2, that could be a conflict within yourself. Like you may feel like you want more and you can give more to more people, you know, but it's like you can't have the baby by yourself, and you don't want to keep having babies when your partner doesn't want them. So that's something you can figure out. Also, teaching styles. Some parents, you know, want their child to be raised one way, and other parents want the child to be raised another way. And the best way to do it, I feel like all of these are like preventative measures, but you will be the happiest if you and your partner could agree with how you want to raise your child. For me and Shea's dad, he is Nigerian and I'm Vietnamese, but I don't feel like our culture clashes as much. Like we don't really have, you know, it's not a huge issue raising Shea. I don't believe, I can't think of anything that we really went through like that, but it could be difficult, you know, especially if your parents are involved and they're more traditional or so on and so forth. Who knows? But this, it's something to keep in mind, you know? I feel like those two are very important. Another advice, if you are pregnant and things aren't the way that you want, like you got pregnant out of wedlock, you got pregnant with someone that your family doesn't approve of, whatever it is, you have to realize the difference between what matters now and what matters in 20 years. So when your son or your child is 20 years old, like what is gonna matter? And in the moment, it seems like everything matters. It's like, oh my God, this person doesn't agree with it. Oh my God, I disappointed that person. Oh, you know, like there are so many things that can go wrong, that can look wrong. But you have to realize what matters, and that's what you should give your energy to. Like you're already pregnant, you're already gonna have a child, so what matters and who matters? If someone's not gonna support you, then they're not gonna support you, period. A lot of times, a lot of people who have opinions about your situation or are like disappointed in you, or if your parents disown you, like maybe that goes to show you're gonna do things by yourself anyways. Like at the end of the day, whether it's pregnancy, whether it's your job, whether it's no matter what it is, you really only have yourself. Like that's who you can depend on, you know. Like everyone else is, they're shifting. Like everyone else, you never know who's God is going to take out of your life. You never know who's God is going to put in your life. So you just have to remember it's your decision. And then once you make the decision, you choose how you want to live. You choose how you want to raise your child. You choose what you want to do. You know, granted, if your partner's involved, all of that is different. But you get me? It's like, there's going to be a lot of negativity coming your way, especially if you don't do it according to someone else's plans. I would say my overall lesson in life is to not be so spontaneous. My whole life, I'm like so spontaneous. I do things like that. Like, I just never needed much planning. And Shea's dad is just like that too. But now, guys, my camera keeps cutting off. But now it's like, I see that the decisions you make literally can have lifelong consequences. There are things that come out of these decisions that you make. So you want to make the best decision that you can, you know, like, and this is just in this area of life. I'm not saying you can't like live your best life to do whatever else, but it's like when it comes to a child, when it comes to you providing and being there for them mentally, emotionally, because that's important too. Like, you know, your child needs some of your mental space. Like, you can't be everywhere. Your head can't be everywhere. You can't be, you just need to be good. Like, you need to be good before you can even raise a child who is going to meet you there. You know, like, who is going to be good as well. But I think that's like, I think we're good. Are we good? Do you have anything to say? You put the binky back in your mouth? Huh? Do you have anything you want to say? Say what's up. Hi. Good morning, everybody. Say, I've been waking up at 5 a.m. every day. because of the daylight savings, right? The clock change, and now he's up at 5 a.m. Literally for the last week, he's been waking up at 5 a.m. But it's allowed me to start my day so early. Like, it's only 8 o'clock right now, and I'm already fully ready for church. He's about to be ready. He's already bathed and everything. He just needs to put on his clothes. The house is clean. Like, it's crazy, and it's only 8 o'clock. It's because I've been up since 5 a.m. So that's another thing that's changed about me. I've always been a morning person, but now, like, I'm more of a morning person because of him. Man, there's so many things about pregnancy, because I'm like, I didn't even touch on sleep, and sleep is something serious. Like, I really focused on sleep and his routines. I'm a routine kind of girl, so Shea is on a whole routine, hour by hour. I used to know exactly what he should be doing. Now it's changed because he's in daycare. Right, babes? You're in daycare? So now you just do whatever you want? Is that what happens? So, yeah. Now it's different. Want bread? But, do I have anything else to say? I was gonna tell you guys about, like, my journey and, like, his journey and stuff, but I think overall that would take probably 4 hours. So this is a good you know, like, segment. This is a good way to talk about what's important and, like, what stuck out to me, you know? So yeah, I think that's all that I have today. I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys look forward to more of my mommy content. Let me know what you want to see. I'm so excited to share with you guys the little things that I do. I'm still a minimalist to the core. So, like, Shea doesn't have a room full of toys, and, like, he doesn't have 1,000 clothes that he may or may not wear. Like, I'm still very realistic and practical with raising Shea. So yeah, I'm excited to share this journey with you guys. I know it took a long time. We were debating on, like, having him on social media and, like, all that stuff. And man, I can go on and on, because that also goes into, like, the conversation you should have with your partner, especially now with social media being so huge. Not everybody wants their child out there, you know? So, like, for a while, Shea wasn't, like, on social media at all. And yeah, but I'm gonna end the video here because I will literally keep going if I don't. So I will talk to you guys soon. I hope you enjoy this video, and if you have any more questions, leave them below, leave them somewhere, and I'll keep doing these, like, updated Q&As. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you later. Say bye.